let's switch to real estate. The Canadian Real Estate Association says home sales in January were up almost 3% year over year, but that did slacken off at the end of the month. We also saw a large number of homes being listed for sale. Let's get more from Ron Butler, mortgage broker at Butler Mortgage. Always great to see you.
Great to be here.
I saw this big jump, apparently, depending how you measure it. It was a record number of listings for sale. Are people panicking, do you think, trying to get their house sold?
Not just in Toronto, but in Vancouver as well. A massive, almost hockey stick jump in listings. Yeah, I think what we were looking at is a carryover from a lot of people who did want to sell in the fall, did not get any price offer that they liked, took it off the market, and now they're back with a whole new cohort of people who also want to sell their rental property. So yeah, it's a massive surge.
Oh, you think it's rentals are a big part of this? Speculators, investors who got in over their heads?
I would say specifically in Toronto and Vancouver, the rental component is extremely high.
Yeah, people who just can't carry their properties.
Well, it's everything going wrong at once. It's literally the perfect storm. We've seen rents dropping in, asking rents dropping. We've seen in Calgary, in Vancouver and in Toronto. And then we've seen even bonuses like, hey, I'll give you 2 months free. I mean, I'll do whatever I need to do to get you in. It's a really, and renewals. We still have renewals pouring in on these rental properties over the next 18 months. And they're all going to be, in all likelihood, a little bit more, a higher payment. So it's a perfect storm for people to say, I want to get out of this.
You do note that real estate operates according to its own long, slow cycles.
That's correct. It's just not like the stock market, the bond market. You can't just sell in a day. It's complicated. It's expensive. I mean, and you also want to hold out for the best price you can get because you have to pay a commission. You have to pay lawyers. You have a mortgage to pay off. So there's so many considerations apart from let's just sell.
I love this. The English language gets richer every day. We had FOMO, fear of missing out, so people jumped into the property market. But now we have FOOP, fear of overpaying. People are reluctant to buy.
We have FOOP. It's a classic declining market spiral. So if you believe prices are headed down, why would you put in an offer now? Wait 6 months. Well, wait 6 months. We've got more listings, more people who want to sell. And yeah, it's the fear of overpaying. So used to be fear of missing out. We saw 2021, people were bidding hundreds of thousands of dollars over the offering price. Now we're seeing the opposite. People holding back, see if the price keeps going down.
Looking at Canadian house prices, I mean, they peaked more than 2 years ago. Lately, they've been pretty flat. I mean, I know it's hard to generalize. The market varies so much. But looking at the composite from the Real Estate Association, prices pretty flat. Pretty flat.
I think what we're sort of reaching is an inflection point. Yeah, we've had some price growth in Montreal. We've had some price growth in Calgary. That may offset some, and Vancouver quite flat. But that might offset what's going on in Toronto because there's nobody in the condo business in Toronto that doesn't think the prices aren't going down.
Nobody thinks, people are just that mood of pessimism out there.
That specific category, particularly rental condominiums, it's just a general grind down in prices.
Is that in particular in these 500 square foot units, the infamous shoe boxes in the sky?
I call them something different than shoe boxes. I call them dog crates.
Oh.
But yes, it is absolutely a function. And by the way, it's a function of more and more of that inventory coming on stream. More and more pre-construction condo towers are completed every quarter, and a lot of those people want out. Like they'll close. They closed on the condo. They've got something to sell now, and they want out. So that just keeps adding to inventory.
What about the rest of the country? I know the condo market's vastly smaller in other centres, but are we seeing a similar phenomenon in other cities?
We're seeing an interesting phenomenon in Montreal that they have had a tremendous growth in purpose-built rentals. That has been all the starts that we see. It's literally up 100%. It's up double in Montreal, these purpose-built rentals accommodations. So that's been a growth story. But throughout most of Canada, in general, real estate slows because the uncertainty of the Trump tariffs, the trade war possibilities, it just puts everybody on edge. It makes people uncomfortable about making massive financial decisions because let's face it, it's all that's been in the news recently.
I'm just trying to remember when the market, I think we can show a chart of that national composite benchmark price drawn up by the CREA, and I'm sure they would be the first to admit that it varies regionally, but stuck in a range. Are we going to look back to that 21, 22 period and say that was the peak for many years? Could it be like 1989, if you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I was around for 89, 90. Prices reduced consistently for almost 6 years, right from 93 to 95 before there was ever any possibility of an increase. And then to actually get back to inflation-adjusted numbers, that took till about almost 2012, 2013.
Wow.
So, yeah, no, it can be a lost decade. We can look back on those numbers and say, yeah, that was the peak for 10 years.
Ron, always great talking to you. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Ron Butler.